Well, here at Castle Sinniness we're in the very southwest of Scotland, halfway between Stranraer and Newton Stewart. The climate down here is great for being a grassland farmer with a mild winter, early spring, long grass growing season and generally a good rainfall throughout the year. Castle Sinniness is 240 hectares of grassland. It's a family partnership, so it's my mother and father and myself that are partners in the business. My wife Claire and my daughter Molly help where they can. We have 200 Angus and Aberdeen Angus cross cows within the breeding herd, and we're running a group of 10 stock bulls. The Aberdeen Angus suits the forage system that we run. They're extremely maternal, but they're also dual purpose, so we get a good mother who can provide a replacement heifer for the herd, but also the steers are sought after for the finishing market. We're turning cattle out in February, we'll graze them through to the end of November, so we need an animal that can survive the colds of the spring and the heat of the summer, but also convert a lot of grass to beef. I can take phenomenal amounts of grass out of a field in live weight from cattle, so I can convert 6 kilos of dry matter grass to a kilo of live weight in the spring at a quarter of the cost it would be in the shed. So we're a spring calving herd, so with 200 cows and the heifers go to the bull around about the 25th of June every year, aiming for a 9-week calving block for the cows, 6 weeks for the heifers. The advantage of having a shorter calving period is that we're focusing our labour for a shorter period of time. The cows are all calved down before they go back to the bull, and we're weaning calves all at the same age and stage in the autumn. We're aiming to wean the calves in late October, averaging 1.2 kilos a day. We want a low birth weight, fast growing animal that will fit either the store market or the finishing market. We sell store cattle through Stirling market from 450 to 500 kilos in weight, and we also finish cattle through Scot Beef. Our finishing cattle, we're looking for a 300 kilo to 320 kilo carcass. We're looking for an R4L, which should be what an Angus is designed for. Genetics are huge to us, so we use AI for selected Angus breeding females. We use sex Frisian semen for the lower end of the heifers, just to try and make sure we're bringing a little bit of milk into the herd all the time. And we also use a little bit of embryo transfer as well, just to make sure we're harnessing the best available. We've been weighing cattle for at least 15 years. We weigh all the calves at birth, we weigh everything at weaning, and then the growing cattle are weighed at 21 to 28 day intervals throughout the whole grazing season. We find if we don't know what the cattle are doing, it's difficult to benchmark the business month on month. So I know in April that if my calves are not growing at 1.5 kilos a day in their second summer, that I'm missing out on opportunity. So I'm either too heavily stocked or I'm not rotating them fast enough for the grass quality. Well, at Castle Sinniness we aim to have the cattle grazing in small areas for a short period of time and then rest in that area of land. So it's a 2-day graze and a 21-day recovery period. So the cattle get the best of grass, they get a quick period to mow it all down, and then they've 21 days for that field to recover again before they're back round again. I mean, it's very much a first stage of the paddock grazing system, so we're still using fiberglass poles and the majority of it's still poly wire. So we're using geared reels, so everything can be built today and stripped out tomorrow. So it allows us to adjust that structure depending on the weather and the size of mob we want to run. Well, since we started paddock grazing in 2016, we've found we can grow a lot more grass from the same level of inputs, so we need more stock. So it's allowed us to open up the doors and have contract cattle in for grazing. We measure the grass, we make sure we have enough cattle for that, and then we take the surplus out at its optimum for quality. We make grass silage to the best quality we can for the young stock. We have whole crop silage for the reseeding policy. We also grow a little bit of lucerne, which brings me in protein and energy into the ration. So we always say that if we have to pay for it, we've very little control over the cost of it. At least if it's grown here, we are to blame for the cost of production. We aim to have the cattle grazing brassicas from the 1st of November through to mid to late January. So it's a means to reseed a field. So it allows that grass to rest to build up covers for the spring turnout. We like to know that everything we produce has that stamp of quality that Scotch beef gives us. We understand that our consumer wants to know how we produce the product we have and the traceability that we're able to give them. I can't really think of anything else I'd like to do rather than be a Scotch beef farmer.